everyone. Welcome to Championship Bowling, where each week we present two of the nation's outstanding bowling stars in match game competition. And this is Fred Wool speaking to you from the beautiful Coliseum Lanes here in Coral Gables, Florida. And bringing back for his fourth consecutive appearance from Detroit, Therm Gibson. Thurman? Well, Thurman, getting to be quite a habit here. 4 appearances now. Your winnings up around $3,550, I believe, something like that. If you want to check that after this match, we'll go through the books for you.
Okay.
You're averaging a sensational 224, Thurman, and I just feel you're going to have to do better than that this week.
I think so against Bill.
Because we have a real tough one for you. A fellow who has won practically every title you can possibly win in this game from Chicago, Illinois, the great Bill Lillard, ladies and gentlemen. Bill, nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
Bill, I know you've appeared on Championship Bowling before. We will briefly go over the rules again for you. $1,000, 3 games, total pins to the winner. And, of course, the invitation to appear again next week. In addition to that, $50 to the winner of the first game, $75 to the winner of the second, an additional $100 to the winner of the third. On top of all that, of course, a 300 score worth $10,000.
Sounds like a pretty good thing.
Pretty good thing. And I will say this, if we have more than one 300 score, they go at $10,000 apiece. Is that all right?
Sure is.
Now, boys, ABC rules prevail. As you know, all this competition is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress. Now, I believe there's been a flip of the coin for the starting alley. And who won that toss?
Bill won the toss.
You're winning already, Bill.
I won something. I don't win anything else.
What is your choice?
I'm going to start on 23.
You will start on 23 the first game, and the third game, Thurman, you will start on alley 23. The second game, gentlemen, come out of fighting. Let's give them a real Coral Gables welcome. We're ready. Here we go.
Bill Lillard from Chicago, former Dallas, Texas boy, won the toss, elected to start on the left side. 3 games, total pins, $1,000 to the winner. Therm Gibson making his 4th consecutive appearance, and he has a real tough one here this week. William Terrell Lillard.
And Little Willie off with a strike in the first frame. Here's a fella that will tear the pins apart. He throws that inside, wide, sweeping hook that really tears them apart. Therm Gibson, not much on the wide, sweeping hook, throws them more or less taking the shortcut all the way. But he has been bowling sensationally. In his last out against Joe Ostrowski of Philadelphia, Gibson had 705, averaging 224 for 9 games, and he's in there. So both boys get away beautifully here this week in Coral Gables, Florida, Championship Bowling. These television lanes have been completely resurfaced to ABC specifications, governed by ABC rules, all competition sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress. We're in the second frame. Gibson throws, hurry, gets there, look at that. Well, Thurman showing a lot of the old college try, a lot of great footwork out there by this fellow who tips the scales at better than 240 pounds. And Thurman will tell you that when I can shoot my weight, I'm happy. Here's Lillard. Here it comes. He's got it. Bill Lillard, the 1956 National Individual Match Game Champion. The Bowling King of Chicago in 1956. Bill has a habit that you'll see here during the next 3 games, constantly wiping his right hand on the sole of his left shoe, picking up as much of the dust as he can to absorb the perspiration. Look out! Too high. 3-6-10. Bill Lillard, who will tell you that this is one of his tough spare shots. Bill was born in Fort Worth, Texas. In 1927, moved to Dallas when he was only 6 years old, to Chicago in 1951. Spent 1 year in Detroit, 1954. Went back to Chicago in 55. 3-6-10, cross alley, converted. Bill Lillard from Chicago. His opponent, Therm Gibson from Detroit. Lillard started with 2, stopped in the third. Here's Therm Gibson stepping in the third. Gibson has won now $3,550. He's averaging $224 for a total of 9 games. Gibson started to clap his hands, stopped because he had an idea that that one might be just a bit too high, but the ball set beautifully, the 4-7, just about in midair with the last 2 pins to get into the pit. So Thurman has started with 3 in a row, has taken a 13-pin lead at the end of 3. Well, it certainly looked like a great ball, didn't it? Coming in from the outside, about 4 pins scattering to the left, but the 7-pin still stands up there, slightly off spot. It did move slightly, but not enough, and the Brunswick automatic pin setter puts it right back off spot. Gibson stops at 3. A lot of action there, but the 7-pin was missed all the way. Thurman converts. So Lillard getting a break on that one as Gibson went in for the 4th strike but did not carry it. Lillard, after 2, went through the middle, leaving the 3-6-10, which he converted. Well, Sweet William got that one. So Lillard now with a strike in the 4th can get right back into this one. Again, Lillard is on the strike in the 4th. Gibson is on the spare. So Bill, of course, has got to make it good, or it's not going to be too much, make too much difference in the scoring. You've got to get that next strike to make it count. Bill keeps that ball right up under his chin, just looking over the top of it. Reaching out, here he comes. 10-pin. Bill almost lost his wristwatch. We have a couple of boys here that go through certainly a lot of antics out on the approach. Gibson with that slap of his hand. You'll find that wristwatch popping around. Lillard swinging his right arm up over his head. Certainly knew that he needed that one. So he'll go cross alley here at the 10-pin in the 5th. And Bill has mastered the cross alley spare by killing the ball more or less. It doesn't break too much when he goes cross alley. Practically straight. Bill comes straight out of the ball, straight up. He doesn't give it the turn and lift that he does when he's throwing at the complete setup of 10 pins. So at the end of 5 for Lillard, it's 87 spare. Therm Gibson now still keeping that 12-pin lead and a chance to add to it with 2 strikes. Gibson getting a very light touch there. The 6-pin just giving the 10-pin a little butt, and into the pit it goes. Thurman throwing that one at about 3/4 speed. Plays the right-hand side here at the Coliseum Lanes on alley 24. Beautifully, extreme inside, not taking too much of the alley. Here on the left side, the alley that Thurman continually fights, he plays more of an outside angle that both Gibson and Ostrowski last week seemed to master. He's walking away from that one. He knows where that one is, and he leaves the 3-pin. Gibson, one of the few boys that sometimes doesn't care what happens to the ball. When he's not happy with what he has done, he just turns away, lets the ball take care of itself. He left the 3-pin, unable to take advantage of his strike in the 5th. Pin, look out. He missed it. He lost his footing, and this match is all even. So at the end of 5 for Lillard, it's 87 spare. For Therm Gibson now in the 6th with a miss at the 3-pin, 127. It'll be Lillard now stepping up in the 6th. This match, this game, the first of 3, practically even. Here's Lillard going in that 1-3 pocket. So Bill leaving a 10-pin between 2 strikes. Could be out in front. If Lillard gets this one in the 7th, he will take the lead for the first time. Gibson missing the 3-pin. One of the easier shots. And Thurman seemed to be tangled up there in his footwork as he went to the line, and the ball did not come back. Bill Lillard
of Chicago, the challenger. Therm Gibson, the king of the hill, making his fourth appearance.
Lillard throws, got to hurry. Never gets there. The 1-2-10, the washout. Well, there are 3 pins that I'm sure Bill Lillard will never forget. In 1956, when Lillard won the National Individual Match Game Championship, he was sitting on the bench watching Joe Willman of Chicago finish the 10th frame of the 100th game at the Chicago Coliseum when Willman needed a spare to win. Willman left these 3 pins and missed them, and Bill Lillard became the 56 champ. Just about like that. Lillard missed it. You've got to go to the extreme Brooklyn. Although we saw Jimmy Carmen a couple of 3 weeks ago against Therm Gibson in a real thriller convert that one in the 8th frame of the last game, and the pin came off the kickback. So Lillard, very cooperative here as far as Therm Gibson is concerned, has his open frame in the 7th, and Gibson will take approximately a 12-pin lead again if he fills this frame. He's got to hurry. He has the same thing with company, the 1-2-4-10. Pete Carter, 3 weeks ago, converted 2 of these in 1 game against Therm Gibson. 4 weeks ago, Gibson and Jimmy Carmen of Dallas, Texas. The result, Gibson 644, winning by 1 pin over Carmen 643. 3 weeks ago against Pete Carter, Gibson 675 to Carter's 581. Hurry up, he's got it. Nice shot. So the big boy from Detroit turns in the 1-2-4-10. Lillard missed his, and the margin about 12 pins at the end of 7. Last week, in one of the highest scoring matches in this series from Coral Gables, Florida, on championship bowling, Gibson 705, Joe Ostrowski of Philadelphia 679. Watch it. A little high, the 9 pin. There's an odd leave. That's the 4 pin right in front of it. The 4 pin fell to the right. And you will see an occasional 4-9 on a hit that high, but you will very seldom see the 9 alone. It's usually the 4 alone or the 4 and the 9. So Gibson, after starting with 3, cooling off here, on the nose, leaving the 3, which he missed. Then the 1-2-4 pin, which he converted, and he just converted the 9 pin as Bill Lillard steps up in the 8th. It's 11 pins. Gibson has them. Bill Lillard of Chicago, 8 times picked on the All-American first team. First man in history to win 3 American Bowling Congress titles in 1 tournament. Happened in Fort Worth, Texas. Got it. We better correct that one. It happened in Rochester, New York in 1956. 3 titles. A member of the team, he shot 683. He won the doubles, shot 674. In the singles, 661. He was the winner of the All Events 2018. Also won an ABC title as a Detroiter, as a member of the team champions. So he's won 4 ABC titles. Convert. We go into the 9th frame. Lillard 135 and to spare. Gibson 146 and to spare. The margin is 11 pins. Speaking of ABC titles, there are only 4 men in the 55-year history of this great event that have won 4 titles. Joe Willman, Fred Bujak, and the late John Custer, and this young man, Bill Lillard of Chicago. Lillard got that one up on the left side, and he has an important strike in the 9th frame. And that's the place to get it, because Lillard is still potential 215. He started with a double, opened in the 7th with a 1-2-10. Gibson started with 3, opened in the 6th when he missed a very easy 3 pin. In the 9th, Gibson throws. Strike. So Gibson, who will bowl out first, has the opportunity of putting this one away and shutting Lillard out, because if Therm gets 2 strikes, Mr. Lillard cannot possibly beat him. If he gets 1 strike, he's got to get a 9-pin count, which would give Lillard a chance to tie. Watch out, Therm.
Thurman always checking that floor. He's a real stickler on that approach. He's got to have them just the way he wants them. Too sticky, Mr. Gibson has trouble. There's the stride. Look out. Brooklyn, he got away with it. Boy, what a break that was. Thurman shakes his head. So Thurman Gibson with a Brooklyn strike in the 10th frame needs 9 pins to be sure of a tie. Gibson's winnings, now $3,550. This game would give him an additional 50 and a slight lead for the big $1,000. Looks thin. He's got it. So it'll be Thurman Gibson winning the first game. Thurman has won 2 games in each of his 3 previous matches. He won 2 against Jimmy Carmen. He won 2 against Joe Ostrowski last week. 2 weeks ago, we'll correct that, he won 3 games against Pete Carter. So he's won 7 out of 9. He's got it. Gibson getting the very lucky Brooklyn, and boy, the boys really know they're lucky when they go on that side. So he finishes with 3, starts with 3. Actually, he finished with 4, started with a triple for 226. This is Gibson's 8th win in 10 games. His average was 224 going into this game, so he maintained that 224 average. It's now 224 for 10. Out it goes. Here it comes. 10 pin. So Bill Lillard, who likes to go around, is really sailing around. Gibson taking the shortcut to the 1-3 pocket. Not leaving too many 10 pins. So the best that Bill Lillard can turn in here is 195, and that'll give Thurman about 31 pins to go on. Last week against Ostrowski, Gibson had a 50-pin advantage after the first game with a 276 game. Of course, Ostrowski came back in the second game to make it quite a match. There was only 19 pins difference. There was less than 10 pins difference late in the third game before Gibson turned it on with a string of strikes when Ostrowski left a couple of 10 pins. 10th frame, final ball for Bill Lillard. 2 games to go. Total pins, of course, deciding the winner and $1,000. Lillard reaching. This time he's there, solid, the full count. Bill Lillard, 195. Thurman Gibson, 226 here in the first game. Looks like a real good one getting started here, so don't go away. From Coral Gables, Florida, Fred Wolf asking you now to stand by, and we should pay some strict attention to this message. The scores for the first game, Thurman Gibson, 226, the winner over Bill Lillard's 195. Thurman?
Brooklyn in the 10th frame.
I know you feel a little bad about that, Brooklyn.
I'm glad
Thurman,
I got it, though.
but it looked awfully good on the score sheet, and it has won you another $50. As the
Thank
winner
you.
of the first game, your winnings now are up to about $3,600, and you've picked up a pin in your average. You're now averaging 225 for 10 games. You satisfied with that?
Yes, but I'd like to do better, though.
You'd like to do better than
Sure.
225.
Always like
I
to
think
do better.
I think Bill Lillard is going to make you do a little better. How about it, folks? Game number 2. Let's give him a little encouragement. Here we go. It'll be Thurman Gibson starting the second game. Lillard won the toss, elected to start on alley 23. All games are started on the odd alley, which is 23, which is to our left as we look at the pins. Gibson throws, there, carries, all but the 9 pin again. That's the second 9 pin, and we mentioned it's very odd when you get in that pocket and get all 9 pins in the pit, as Gibson did earlier in the first game, and leave just the 9. That looked like the 4-9 leave. In fact, the 4 did not leave the pin deck. So Gibson crowding the pocket slightly on the left side. Came through with 4 on the end, including a Brooklyn to win the first game with 226, and that brought a groan from the crowd. And Thurman gives his wife Eloise the eye. She's sitting in the front row,
sweating it out week after week as Thurman Gibson of Detroit continues to add to the swag. It now has reached $3,600. He has a 31-pin lead on his opponent, Bill Lillard from Chicago. Here comes Lillard. Look out, 4-pin, just a bit tight. Bill, of course, a member of the Brunswick Advisory Staff of Champions, doing a great job touring the country for the Brunswick people. Some years ago, averaged 219. That's his highest league average for the entire season, and that happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Very close friend of Buddy Bomar's. He's got the 4-pin. Bill Lillard, who you may have remembered on a previous appearance on Championship Bowling, appeared for 10 straight weeks. The longest run in the history of this great series that you have seen originate from Louisville, Kentucky, Chicago, Illinois, Paramus, New Jersey, Chicago Heights, this year, Coral Gables, Florida. Lillard ready in the second. Oh, he's got that one. So Lillard beginning to level off here. Been in that pocket twice. The 4-pin's solid, and he follows with a strike. Gibson again checking that approach to make sure that it is not too sticky. Gibson will tell you that when you bowl a fellow like Jimmy Carmen or Bill Lillard, who constantly polish their left heel with a towel to keep it as crisp as they possibly can, the heel will leave a little rubber, and that invariably will bother a fellow like Gibson. Thurman throws, look out, nose, 310. First game, Gibson had 8 strikes. He started with 3, finished with 4. Had a little trouble there between the 6th and 8th frames. Came out of it beautifully, but of course got a Brooklyn in the 10th, which was the deciding factor. Lillard, 6 strikes. Both boys had 1 open frame. Gibson at the 310. The baby split. The ball between... No, he's going on the outside. He may do it. He did it. Well, you can bet on this that Thurman Gibson was not playing that one that way. He was trying to fit the ball between the 2 pins. He made it on the outside going away, which is just about the equivalent of a Brooklyn strike. The boys are shooting at the 1-3 pocket. When they go on the left side, believe me, they are offline. Just the way Gibson was at that spare. He's there, leaves the 4-pin. It's off spot. The 4-pin, after a couple of wobbles, came this way and will be put back off spot by the Brunswick Automatic Pin Setter, one of the amazing functions of this great machine. Thurman, who is very close to the Brunswick organization as a distributor for all Brunswick bowling supplies, a great instructor in the Motor City. He's got it. So Thurman, with 3 spares here, getting away with, really getting away with 1. The 310 converted on the outside, and Bill Lillard trailing by approximately 30 pins, working on a strike in the 3rd, and this one, of course, will cut that margin down below 20. Here comes Willie. He got that 10 pin, finally. Bill jumped over the rack, and he's right into position now here for his next strike, he hopes, on alley 23 left side in the 4th frame. So Lillard made good his strike. That's the first double for Lillard since the 2nd frame of the 1st game. He left a 10 pin in the 5th frame on a strike, followed with 1, had 1 to work on in the 9th, and left a 10 pin. And he just got the 10 pin out of there that time. Bill winds it up. He's down on his knees, and he's in there. So this match is practically even, with Lillard coming through with 3 in a row here as Thurman Gibson looks for his first strike of the 2nd game. On his way to a roller rink over 20 years ago, used his last quarter to bowl a couple of games, then decided to set pins to get closer to the game. He finally gets the first strike here in the 4th frame of the 2nd game. So at the end of 4, Lillard potential 80 against Gibson's 57. That would be 23 pins, Gibson leading by 8 pins going into the 5th. Thurman deciding possibly that the perspiration will not give him the grip that he wants, goes to the hand dryer
Now he'll jiggle that thumb in and out of that thumb hole 3 or 4 times before he takes off. Look out. No, 6-10. Therm Gibson averaging .225 for 10 games. This is his 11th. He's defeated Jimmy Carmen of Dallas, Texas. Pete Carter of Detroit, Joe Ostrowski. Look out, he missed that one. Thurman having trouble holding onto that ball, and he has missed another spare. Missed the 6-10, and missed it cleanly. So Bill Lillard, who was trailing by 31 pins going into this game, has already taken care of those 30 and has picked up a few more. Bill Lillard actually has taken the lead. Here he comes. He's there. So Bill Lillard, the challenger. Therm Gibson, the king of the hill, and the king certainly is wobbling on his throne right now. At the end of 5, Lillard is 80, works on 2. Gibson cold with 85 in the 5th. Lillard moving to the left, working on those 4 strikes in a row, and the last 2 have really been in there as Gibson missed the 6-10. Lillard throws too high, nose 4-6, and he stops, and Gibson gets a life. Bill Lillard really got out of that one, man. He gave that one the twist. That ball made a left turn about a foot from the pocket, went right through, leaving the so-called impossible 4-6. We call it impossible. It is made occasionally, of course, but the boys usually take the 1 pin and are satisfied. Bill will shoot at the 4 pin. So he gets the 1 and has his open frame. He now has 136 in the 6th frame. Gibson with 85 in the 5th, ready to shoot in the 6th. Gibson stepping in now in the 6th frame with a chance, of course, to fill out the frame and pick up the 10 pins that Lillard left for him, leaving the 4-6 after 4 in a row. This match practically even to the pin. Gibson, the 3-10, the second one that he's had. He converted this on this alley in the 2nd frame on the outside, going away. Let's see how he handles this one. If Gibson fills this frame, this match will be even to the pin. Bill Lillard had taken the lead, actually, in the 5th frame when he got his 4th in a row, but the 4-6 gave Gibson a chance to make it even again. And he's got to put the ball between the 2 pins. He doesn't do it. It's still Lillard out in front. So Gibson has had 2 openers in a row, has had 1 strike this game, 2 3-10s, has only been in the pocket twice. First frame, he left a 9 pin on a pretty good hit, 4-9, shook the 4 out of there. Had the 4 pin in the 3rd and a strike in the 4th. Lillard leading by 11 pins. He has 42 pins this game. Gibson throws, claps his hands, he's in. So Therm Gibson now, with his back to the wall, trailing by 11 pins. Gibson has usually been out in front by this time, although he did lose to Jimmy Carmen by 35 pins the first game. But he got them all back in the 2nd and winning it in the last game when he had to convert a spare and get 8 pins, which he did to win by 1. He had an easy time against Pete Carter. Last week against Ostrowski, Gibson led all the way. 10 pin by Sweet William. Lillard started with a 4 pin and followed with 4 good ones. Then tried to go through the middle, but couldn't do it. Left the 4-6. Going cross alley. Look out, Bill. He's got it. Lillard has certainly mastered the cross-alley ball, shooting at the 10 or the 6-10, or he also uses that type of a release on the 3-6-10, any right-hand spares. The ball rolls practically straight. He comes out of it straight up. He uses a 3-finger ball takes 5 rather short steps. And on this ball, where he's shooting at all 10 pins, he comes out of it a little differently. Winds it up, and here it comes. He got there. 8 pin. Oh, that pin really got the wobble there, but it would not go down. So Lillard, unable to pull away. Gibson, working on that strike in the 7th, can pull himself back up in this game here to make the match all even. He trails in this game by some 40 pins. He had 31 to work on. 8 pin, hurry. Bill's got it. Lillard with a spare in the 8th. He's 155 spare. Here is Thurman Gibson stepping in on the right side. Has rolled the nation's all-time high 3-game triplicate. In 1936, 3 268 games when he was a youngster in Grand Rapids. Gotta hurry. He's got it. So this match now practically even to the pin. It is even to the pin with one exception. That Gibson, of course, works on the strike. Lillard is on the spare. Gibson still potential 214 with 3 open frames. Correction, 2 open frames. He converted the 310 in the 2nd. But he needs this one. He's got it. He's there. A clap of the hand, and that means that he knows that ball is in that 1-3 pocket where he wants it. So Gibson comes back beautifully now to take the lead back. So it's Gibson out in front again by a margin of 10 pins. Gibson still can pull this game out of the fire. He won the first one by 31, 226 to 195, to pull his average up to 225 for 10 games. Yeah, never gets there. Lillard loses 3 pins in counts, and they're quite important at this stage of the 2nd game, because it brings Lillard down to 72. Gibson, of course, is 24. You want to watch those counts. Gibson now, working on 3, can force Lillard to double in the 10th. After trailing by as many as 42 pins in the 6th frame, Thurman Gibson can still pull this one out of the fire. Bill takes a little extra time. Wipes that hand across the sole of his left foot. He's to the extreme left. He throws it out. Be careful. He's got it. Lillard, converting a very difficult spare in the 9th, now can shut Gibson out, much like Thurman did in the 1st game. Lillard, still potential 222. The best Gibson can turn in here is 214. Bill Lillard, been at this game for about 18 years, has won every major title in the business, was a great champion in Texas before going to Chicago, born actually in Fort Worth, Texas in 1927. Be careful. Little high, 4-7. 2 more pins that Lillard has lost in counts. So Bill now has lost 10 pins in counts since the 3rd frame. So the best that Lillard can give us here is 210. That would mean that Gibson will need 2 strikes and 7 pins to win the 2nd game and make it 9 wins in 11 starts. A tremendous record. And boost his winnings up to over $3,675 and give him a margin to carry into game number 3. But will he have enough? Bill has been one of the real great stars in the National Individual Match Game Championships that have been held at the Chicago Coliseum. Always up in the running. Usually always a finalist. Little high, loses 2 more pins and counts for 208. So Thurman Gibson works on 3 strikes in a row. And Bill Lillard, who started with a 4-pin, followed with 4 strikes, then left the 4-6, was unable to get a strike in the last 5 frames. Gibson needs 2 strikes and 5 pins. Thurman, wiggling that thumb in the thumb hole, throws, look out, shakes his head. He is on the nose, and he gets 9 of them, getting a break, almost getting all 3 of them. The 3-6-10 up there, and Gibson gets away beautifully with nothing but the 3-pin, and he's missed this one once, incidentally. So Gibson will settle for a spare and full count at 193. That means that
Lillard will have picked up about 15 pins. It'll give Gibson around 15 to 16 to take with him into the last game. Boy, a double there would have put Thurman in a real great spot to make it 4 in a row. Now he's going to have to work doubly hard in the third game to hold this great star, Bill Lillard from Chicago. So Bill Lillard wins the second game, stumbling home with 208. Gotta hurry. He doesn't get there, and he loses 3 pins. So the boys have been kicking it around here, playing give and take in game number 2. The final scores in the second game, Bill Lillard 208, Therm Gibson 190. Now we'll be back with the third and final game with that $1,000 hanging in the balance. And this is Fred Wolf inviting you to stay with us after this interesting word. The scores for the second game, Bill Lillard, 208. Therm Gibson, 190. Bill, business. Bill, you've picked up $75 for the second game. You have 15 pins to worry about now for the 1,000.
Well, the way Gibby's averaging, around 225, I don't know. It'll take around 246 to win the thing, or 250 or so.
Think you
I
can
don't
get
think I can do it, but we're sure going to be trying.
We're going to try. All right, let's give him a little help. Bill Lillard will start the third and final game, trailing by 15 pins. He won the second game 208 to 190. Gibson won the first one 226 to 195. Gibson, the king of the hill. Lillard, the challenger. Gibson making his 4th consecutive appearance. Lillard throws. He's there. Look at that. Here is Therm Gibson, who has been doing a tremendous job, averaging 221 now for 11 games. Throws. He's there. He's got it. So both boys showing us exactly what they're made out of. This is the clutch game. 15 pins. Thurman has them. It means that Lillard has got to beat this fella by 16 pins. Thurman knows that. The more he can get, the more Mr. Lillard has got to get. Bill predicted it would take 246 to win. It'll be interesting to see what it will take to win and what Mr. Lillard can shoot. Watch it. Too high. 4-6. 7-10. Let's put a couple more on there. 4-6, 7-10 right through the middle. Gibson, wanting that double, did not want to be short, goes right through. They call that one the Big Four. They call it double pinochle, the Golden Gate. Call it the Brooklyn Bridge. Call it anything you want. It's just one of those things. You just shoot for 2 and sit down. And Thurman throws a hard one, trying to get some action. And he did get some in the right corner, but of course nothing happened. So Gibson is open, 18-26. And Bill Lillard, trailing by 15 pins with a strike here, can take the lead again. Lillard had the lead in the 6th frame of the second game after losing the first one by 31 pins. He had a 4-bagger stopped with a 4-6 right on that same alley that led Gibson to that disastrous 4-6, 7-10. Lillard throws. Look out. Little high. Got it. Bill Lillard crowding the 4-7, getting the big double, and it's now Lillard out in front, 8 frames to go. He started with the first 2, and of course this one is a big one because Gibson is on the open frame in the second, Lillard on the strike. Bill peering over the top of the ball, winds it up, and here it comes. He's got it. Therm Gibson, just a bit disgusted, tossing the towel on the bench. Thurman started with a strike, pulled one up, hit the nose, left the impossible double pinochle, now has found his opponent pulling away from him, trying to make it 4 consecutive wins. Now he has a job. He's there, and he carries for his strike in the third. Well, as Bill Lillard predicted, he would need 246 to win, assuming that Gibson can shoot his average, which is around 221 for 11 games. And the way Lillard has started,
246 does not seem too far away. Thurman needs this one. He's thinking of that double pinochle. Not too high, he says. But he is high again, and he doesn't carry the 7-pin. Looked like it might be in the right place. The 7-pin remains, and now Bill Lillard can really pull away here. Bill has started with 3. Thurman unable to cash 2 on the right side. Did not get his double in either the 2nd or the 4th frame. Thurman converts the 7-pin in the 4th. And we'll watch his opponent, Bill Lillard, step up here now to try to extend his margin. Bill Lillard, who started his bowling as a student when he was only 12 years old. Before he left Texas, he won every major Texas title. Member of Brunswick's advisory staff of great champions. 3, tries for 4. He's done. So Bill Lillard is long gone here now at the end of 4, giving Lillard the 90 in the 3rd. It would mean that Gibson trails by 44 pins. He had about 13 to work on, so Lillard is out in front by about 30 pins. Mr. Lillard just threw the book at that one, didn't he? Man, he piled them up on the left side. He now has 5 in a row. 5 in a row, and his prediction of 246 certainly looks like it's going to be a breeze. He has 230 right now if he marks out in the remaining 5 frames. That means that Gibson has got to go, and here he comes. He leaves the 10-pin when he needed it. Thurman Gibson of Detroit, 240-pounder. Who has had quite a stay here in Coral Gables, winning 3, trying to win his 4th one. But he finds himself now trailing his opponent, Bill Lillard, as we reach the halfway point in the 3rd and final game. Cross alley, 10-pin leave. He's got it. So at the end of 5, Bill Lillard is all the way. Gibson, 65 and a spare. Gibson in the 6th. Lets that ball drop, and he has the 1-2-4. Doesn't get that one out there at all, and Thurman seems to be running out of gas. Bill Lillard getting stronger as he goes, and marching home here, going into the final 5 of the 3rd game. So the king looks like he has had enough of the throne and will go back to Detroit, certainly. A very happy young man with some $4,000 approximately. Gibson at the 1-2-4 converts. And incidentally, the 1-2-4 is Gibson's toughest spare shot. He will admit to that. So here is Bill Lillard, who has the first 5. $10,000 for a 300 score. Lillard is only 7 strikes away. Bill has rolled 3 perfect scores in a very brilliant career. It's quite amazing that he has not rolled more than 3. He's rolled 8 299s and 2 298s. Here he comes. He's coming. He's got it. And Lillard is now halfway. Sweet William jumping the rack now, halfway. 6 to go. You can remember a few weeks ago when young Jimmy Carmen of Dallas, Texas was doing very well here, pushing opponents aside. This fella here, Bill Lillard, is Jimmy Carmen's idol. Bill, of course, coming from Dallas, Texas, actually, and young Jimmy Carmen, also a Dallas, Texas boy. Got to hurry. Look at that. So Bill Lillard, who really gave that one the business, it looked like he was too far out. He was out there where some of the balls have been more or less slipping, not coming back, but Lillard really gave that one a lift. Let me tell you, as the boys will say, he really goosed it. Here's Gibson in the 7th, throws too high, 6-10. So Gibson
just about conceding here. Lillard with the 150 in the fifth. And believe me, that's as many as you can get. That's perfect. 7 in a row. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. At the 610, Thurman has it. Gibson, who carried a 221 average with him into this game, will find that probably dropping a pin or two, while Bill Lillard, who shows 403 for the first two, is still potential 703. Let's look at it that way. He needs 5 more strikes for $10,000. Can he do it? Here's Gibson. Doesn't get there. 2-4-5-8 the bucket. Gibson now 116 in the seventh. And this is Gibson's lowest game since he started his string of victories when he defeated Jimmy Carmen of Dallas, Texas 4 weeks ago. He's got it. He walks away from it. Thurman's lowest game was 196. He had 196, 197, and 199. The rest of them were up in the 200s. 276 was the high one when he had 9 in a row, starting with 2 spares. And here is the youngster who has attracted all the attention now of this crowd in Coral Gables, Florida, with the first 7 strikes in a row. Peering over that ball. He winds it up, and here it comes. Hit! Bill Lillard, he has 4 more to go. 4 strikes for $10,000. He has the first 8, and there's been no doubt about any one of them. They've all been in there beautifully. So here is the alley that Lillard has some concern about. If he gets this one, he has a great chance for the last 3. Here it comes. Could be high. High, high, high on the nose. Wide open. Well, it's interesting when a fella feels that the alley is a little difficult, even though he has hit it, and he hit that alley in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th. The one in the 7th, believe me, he really threw. He threw it out. He just did not want to throw that ball out. He seemed to want to settle it. He could not settle it. He gets the 2. But it looks like he has enough to postpone. He has 235 in the 9th. 235. 4 strikes away from $10,000 in this sanctioned competition on championship bowling. Real match game conditions these boys are shooting under. Gibson in the 9th. Too high, 3-6-10. So we have a new king, Bill Lillard of Chicago. William Terrell, Sweet William Lillard. Boy, there's a moniker, isn't it? Gibson has another open frame here in the 9th, and finishing it out gives him 142. Thurman has really had his troubles here, and it all goes back to the 2nd frame when he was on a strike. Both boys starting with strikes. Gibson went in, left the 4, 6, 7, 10. Double pinochle. Came back with a strike and hasn't had a strike since. There it is, but he's a little late. Full count will give Gibson 172, so Thurman will be under 600 for the first time in his 4 appearances. He had 644, 675, and 705. Lillard has been improving each game. 195, 208, 10 pin for Gibson, and a chance for 265 if he can get the 2 big ones in the 10th. He doesn't need them. Lillard is home free. So Thurman Gibson, who has rolled a total of 36 perfect scores, watched his opponent, Bill Lillard, start with the first 8, and then decided that was enough. He converts. Full count in the 10th frame, 162. And Gibson, being the great sportsman that he is, just tells Bill Lillard, all the way, Bill. Make it 265. That would give Bill 11 strikes in one game. That's a lot of them. Too high. On the nose again, and almost the same leave. He has the 6-7. The pin, of course, that is in the gutter, or the challenge, or the channel, rather, is counted as knocked down. And Bill will take another crack at this one. He had the 6-7-10 in the ninth. Now he has just the 6-7. The 10, of course, doesn't mean much on this shot. Let's see what he can do with it. Going to give it a good try. Almost, and Lillard is open in both the 9th and 10th. The boys shake hands. It's Lillard 243, Gibson 162. Now we'll have a word or two with these two great champions and tell you about next week's challenger here at the Coliseum Lanes in Coral Gables, Florida. Fred Wolf inviting you now to pay attention to these interesting words. Here are the final results. Therm Gibson, 226, 190, 162. The total is 578. For Bill Lillard, 195, 208, and a 243, starting with 8 in a row. The total is 646. Did you like this one, ladies and gentlemen? Well, Thurman, as a loser's share, an additional $300. That's about $3,900. That ought to get you back to Detroit.
It sure will, Freddie.
Thurman, you've been a great competitor, and we'll see you again next year.
Thank you a lot.
To you, Willie, Sweet William, I understand they call you.
Well, you're the one I think started this.
$100 for winning the third game. There's your $1,000 as the winner. That makes you the king of the hill, and we will see you here next week on Championship Bowling.
Thank you, Fred.
Good luck, both of you. And next week on Championship Bowling here at the Coliseum Lanes in Coral Gables, Florida, it will be Bill Lillard, the winner here this week, against Ray Bluth from St. Louis. Until then, Fred Wolf just saying good bowling to you.